To be your host for today, my name is Tosin, and I'll be representing the 100 Degrees Company. So, our company's aim is to provide valuable insights and guidance on how to navigate the job market successfully. So, before we proceed to the main thing, we have a distinguished guest speaker with us today, Mr. David. He's an expert in the field of CVs and recruitment. I would like to introduce Mr. David to give him an opportunity to talk about himself and share his professional background. So, Mr. David, please tell us about yourself and the work you do.
Good afternoon, Oluwatosin. Thank you very much. And good afternoon, everybody. Let me do like a brief about what I do. So currently, I'm building a startup. It's called Faster Money. Faster Money helps with a couple of things in the financial sector, but there's a particular thing we do for schools. The goal is to allow out of school children be able to afford education. So we've created a platform that allows them pay in a flexible way. So, for example, let me go to the base of the base. If the mother of a child sells market and she makes 10,000 naira daily, our plan can make sure that she pays 2,000 naira daily for her son's school fees, and she can do that for the rest of the term. So she doesn't need to look for 100,000 or 50,000 to pay for that term. With the platform we have and the agreement we're having with the schools, because I've been speaking to associations, there's NAPS, there's APEN, they have tens of thousands of schools. Everybody can now affordably go to schools of their choice and be able to pay in a flexible way. Let me tie it to the recent student loan bill that just got signed. Now, not everybody will take the loan, right? I'm a business person. I'm thinking in my head. I approach a couple of schools and say, now that there is loan, is it possible we have an agreement where students can now pay in payment, in split payments? Do they have to give you all of their 150K at once or your 250K at once? Can they have like a weekly plan where they keep putting the money, via our platform and you have access to it whenever you want? We're already thinking of approaching a couple of schools. We're just waiting for all of that to settle. There are always opportunities when you look at it. But then, yeah, well, what brings me here today is a business I started 2017. It's called Walker Consulting Services. We do a couple of things for our clients, which is the businesses, people that employ others, internationally and locally. So we have clients across board. We do recruitment services, we do CV revamps, we do LinkedIn optimizations, we do statement of purposes. Because if you look at all those things I just mentioned, people want to leave the country to school outside of the country, you will need a statement of purpose. There are countries that have different kind of CV models. You will need to write your CV in tune with the standard of those countries. So those are the kind of things we do. Well, I said 2017, right? That's how many years ago? That's around 6+ years of me starting that venture. I've been working in recruitment for over 12 years now, thereabouts, in one capacity or the other, with the large corporation, with the smallest one, with the SMEs. I can say, like, uh, if you want to put a team to my name, you probably say job creation, because that's like basically what I try to do with every venture. I put my foot in to ensure that there is available job for people in the community and of course the country at large to reduce unemployment and make people have a means of meaningful income. I think that should do for an intro.
All right, that's a very good introduction, a deep one at that. Okay, thank you, Mr. David. We would also like to acknowledge the presence of our lead consultant at 100 Degrees Company, Mr. Oladipo. You're welcome. Hello.
Yeah,
Okay.
thank you very much. Good to be here.
Yeah, good to have you here as well. Okay, now I would like to start the question and answer section with Mr. David. I've prepared a set of questions that will delve into the key aspects of CVs and job searching strategies. Of course, we encourage active participants from all the we encourage questions, and so feel free to ask questions. But first of all, we'd like to get on with these questions I've prepared for Mr. David. Okay, so let's dive in. So, Mr. David, the first question: what are the best ways to get a job locally and internationally?
Hmm. So I think it was in 2018, I wrote a very small ebook and I said something in that ebook. I say it all the time. People don't seem to listen to it. I told my co-founder that same thing 2 days ago. See, the best way to find a job locally and internationally is on LinkedIn. Now, people ask me how. So I was giving a speech somewhere and I spoke about LinkedIn, and the lady came after me and then she asked them a question. I said, "Did you guys listen to the last presenter?" She spent 30 minutes asking them questions about what I said. And they were wondering. She had a slide, she didn't use that slide again. She had a 25-page slide, but she left it. She kept on hammering on that. And then she gave them the shocker that 6 months ago, she wanted an international job. Of course, she's an experienced person. And then she went back on LinkedIn, activated her profile again, cleaned it up, put out a few things on it. I started posting in relation to the kind of job she was looking for. She wanted to join the United Nations, and she was posting out things in that regard. You know what happened? She didn't need to apply for a job. Somebody recruiting for that role reached out to her because they saw her as a thought leader in that field. And of course, the interview process was cut short. She was poached. And of course, she spoke to
Going
them maybe
somewhere,
two
Aileen?
or three. Okay,
Aileen,
there's somebody else
you
on the
going
call.
somewhere?
Uh,
Kindly go ahead.
so,
Um,
so
It should have drink
yeah,
in it.
I figured that. So yeah, and she
Okay.
continued, and in 3 stages she had a role. Now, typically, if she applied for that job via the regular route of CVs and all of that, she probably goes through a couple of weeks waiting for the HR to sort out the CVs of the applicants that have applied. You've seen this application online before. You have 1,000 people applying for your role, 300 for your role. But you know what LinkedIn does for you? It takes all of that process away because recruiters are constantly looking for candidates that are qualified for their role. I posted a job 2 days ago, BDM for a retail outfit, and I have close to 500 CVs. I've not looked at it, right? The company reached out to me and gave me some profile on LinkedIn, told me to reach out to those people and schedule those guys for interview first. But I just told you I had 500 CVs in my inbox. There's possibility that three of those guys have applied already for that job. But because their profile stood out with the employer referred me to them. So in long and short, there are job sites, right, that you can get international jobs from, a lot of it. But the easy way, not easy way, the more methodic way would be the use of LinkedIn. And I would say, how active are you on that platform? It gives you a better chance at being recruited, at being seen or being spotted by a talent manager, by a recruiting firm, or by a technical editor. People looking to fill roles. The job of a recruiter is when they get you to accept the offer of a company, they get paid. So if you don't accept the offer, the company doesn't get paid. So if you look at it that way, the employer or the recruiter needs you to get paid. You see, I'm not saying we should not be very proud to our recruiters or not follow due process. I'm saying put the better effort into revamping your LinkedIn, into being active on that page, into sharing things that are related to the industry you want to play in. I mean, I became known for jobs because I post a lot of job related content and tips and advice and career steps on LinkedIn. And that is what people kind of tipped me as the job guy. So if there's a job-related conversation, I most likely will be in that conversation and be able to chip in one or two things. So I would say there are no differences in international job search on local job search. The similarities you need is your skill set, the availability of you to be able to take those interviews, and the presenting of yourself as the candidates they are looking for. LinkedIn does that. Now, let me deviate a bit. There are sites, remotejobs.com, flexjobs.com. There are so many communities on Twitter, on LinkedIn that you can go to where you can get these jobs and apply for them. But would you rather keep applying for hundreds of jobs or position yourself to be seen by recruiters who have those jobs at their back and forth, and they can give it to you by just being the available and the qualified? There's nothing like the most qualified candidate. There are several qualified candidates for every role, but there's always one person that a recruiter deems fit for the culture of the company or whatever brand they're trying to push. So I think that should be the route people should go through it. It will help them better.
All right, Mr. Davy, thank you. That answered the question very well. Okay. So the second question for me will be, what is your CV advice for people who are transitioning into a new career path?
CV is how do I put that thing? It has become a thing where people have. I'm finding a better analogy. So you have so much skills, right? But you're unable to present that so much skills to your employer. Now, that's where the issue is. People have been unable to articulate themselves to the best of their. It's called selling. When you pitch ideas to investors, you sell to them, right? Now, people have found it difficult to sell their ideas to employers because their CVs are badly written. I mean, I can stay here and tell you the elements of a good CV. Everybody knows that. You all know that you can find all of this online. What makes a CV thick, the kind of grammars you need to use on CV, the punctuations, how you write your name. Is there a profile that sells you? That statement, that short profile that sells you, your education. Which one does it matter? You put everything or you put the most recent? I go with the most recent. Your experience, how do you put that chronology you want to do from the latest one? Talk about your key points and not your job description, because I find that people write their job description verbatim into their CV and the CV becomes bulky. But no, on a job, you tend to have a couple of things you want to do. So if you have spent 3 years on a job, the description they gave you is a guideline. What have you achieved on that job? Those highlights are what you need to put on your CV. I call it numerical statements where you quantify your experience. For example, if I've worked for 5 years and I've raised maybe 100 million naira for my company one way or the other, I have been able to seal 7 to 8 deals. I'm in the play for another 4 or 5. I would say, actively involved in revenue generation for my company as a this. We raised 100 million naira. Numerical statement. Sealed 7 deals and 3 more incoming in the duration of 12 months at the company. Things that talks about, I call them exactitudes. The exact thing that you did, how you did it, and who you did it with. No man is an island. Raising 100 million won't be done by one person. It will be done by a team. So you need to find a way to also refer to your team while we are talking about you being a focal point of that particular achievement. So in 4 to 7 bullet points, you probably have summarized all you've done on a job. And that will have done more work than you writing your 11 bullet points about your job description. What I find is people talk about descriptions more. So achievements over description. Every other thing is almost similar. Certification, courses you've done before, date, time, and all those things. Your CV in 2-3 pages, depending on the experience you have. I've seen people with 25, 30 years experience. When we write their CVs for them, those executive CVs, it tends to go to 4 or 5 pages, right? But On the average, if you are not more than 10 years experience, you should be able to put your CV in maybe 2.5, and that should do for anything you've done in your career. I have over 12 years experience. My CV is just 2 pages. It's not more than that. I don't say too much. I just tell them the exact thing that was done and let the rest go. It's why you have a LinkedIn page. You can bombard all of other things on your LinkedIn. They can read it. Every employer now reads your LinkedIn before they give you a job. It's like a given now. It's like your automatic online CV. But of course, a physical CV still helps you when you're applying. Trying to put your best foot forward is knowing the kind of keywords you put into your CV for the kind of industries you play in. So let me talk about that transitioning thing. You are an engineer, you are transitioning to an accountant. You don't want to write an engineering graduate with 3 or 4 years experience. That kills you from the very start. You want to talk about the recent accounting degree you just got, or the recent accounting gig or job you've just done, and how your accounting skills have helped you done blah blah blah. So I would say a seasoned, trained, accountant with technical background. I removed the word engineering totally because I don't want them to talk about that. It's already in my CV as my degree. Why am I talking about it again? It doesn't play me well. I want to say something that plays me well. For example, you are an accountant or accountancy, you want to do data science, or you are going cybersecurity. You don't talk about accountancy in your profile rather than cybersecurity expert or analyst, and then the gigs you've done. All of that is how you find a way to, I call it water the ground for whoever is reading your CV. So your CV should have keywords that are now related to the current industry that you play in, not the ones you've left. I can call those background information. There are spaces for it on your CV, but don't use that as the lead, right? Okay, I'll do something. Tosin, there are some comments in the questions in the comment section. It's tying up to what I'm answering. Would it be good to tie them up together so I don't have to answer them all over again? Someone asked about ATS. Now, how does ATS actually work? I know that there are people that use this application where they just pass your CV through the ATS, right? How do you ensure that flies through? ATS typically don't like color. It's mostly like a black and white template. It just wants to see what you've done. And this is where keyword and optimization of your profile or your CV works in play. When you're doing a particular job, read the description of that job before you send your CV in. So if you're applying for an online job, ensure that your keywords that was used in that, call it application or description, is somewhere embedded in your CV. Let me use a funny scenario, but I'll read your question again. So you see, what's your thought on ATS and how to combat CV being rejected without CV being seen by human? There's something called crumbs online. If you put out some things about yourself for so long online, when they search for you online, they will see that thing. Same thing the ATS does. It looks for crumbs in your CV. Crumbs are like keywords that you put on websites. You can put it on your CV as well. Look at the description, look for the best keywords in that play, put it in. And when the ATS is going through that screening process, it will pick you because you have the keywords that tie up to that thing. There's another question. Let me answer something and then we'll go to the next one. How do recruiters scan and select CVs? You mentioned you go to 500 CVs. Okay, that question. Well, mostly people go to referrals, to be very honest. I'm being very factual right now. They go to referrals over 150 CVs. They just leave the rest and go to the people that are referred, except they use like a tracking system or like a screening or a filter system that filters all of the other people and gives them maybe like top 20 or top 30, and that's it. So say over to you.
Okay, all right, sir. Okay, so we have a long way to go with these questions. But so this next question, you might have talked about it in the previous question, but maybe it's just going to give you an opportunity to delve deeper into the question. So what do recruiters look for in a CV? What attracts them?
Yes, Tosin, please, could you repeat that?
Okay, my question was that what do they look for in a CV? What attracts them?
So typically, if I'm trying to say screen for a particular role, so let me even give you this funny play about recruiters. The recruiter doesn't write the description, right? The employer or the in-house HR already has what they are looking for. Say they are looking for a digital marketing expert. They have goals that their company is trying to achieve, via digital marketing. So they will write a description that tailors to that goal and give it to you and say, okay, find me a guy or a lady that is able to achieve all of this thing, as our digital marketing expert, right? When they do that, what the recruiter simply will just do is carry that description word for word and be looking at your CV and say, okay, this person has this experience, that person has that experience. Then they will shortlist you. It's not like they look for beauty per se, but aesthetics are very good. So let me give you that thing that we do. We call it a scan. In like maybe 10, 15 seconds, I look at your CV. I'm looking for that thing that stands out. Digital marketing is in my head. If I don't see anything about 3 years, 5 years, 7 years digital marketing, blah 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 on your first profile or your statement, I'll go to the experience. If I don't see digital marketing this 2019 to date, then I look at what you've written there. If I don't see that in the first few 10, 15 seconds, I would discard the CV because it seems the CV doesn't fit what I'm looking for. So recruiter also use the keywords to scan the CV. Is it so the CV ATS was built by humans. It is the way humans process CV, same way they built that. Just that the humans now have a bit more time to look at it as, okay, this person has potential here. Oh, they've done it before. Okay, let me call them so that I give them a chance and see, oh, maybe they're currently doing it as leisure or not stated on their CV. So a recruiter will give you a bit more time to sell yourself. But before they can give you that time, they need to see a well-written CV. I won't say a beautifully looking CV, so that people don't start putting pictures and colors, and aesthetic writings on their CV. It's a CV. It's not a graphic design. You need it to be as bland as possible, black and white. Mhm. If you're applying for a modeling job, facial model, or maybe like air cabin crew, or salespeople that do front facing, they need to see you before they employ you. Yeah, of course, put your picture by all means. But if I'm applying for other roles that is not hospitality related, please, black and white. Uh, if your picture will be there, tiny, small, there are some templates that have that. You can just put it there. But I really don't go with that picture thing for CV. Make it as black as possible, straight to the point. It's a technical document. I want to see how you can add to the bottom line of my company. I want to see how you can be the candidate that helps grow the company. I want to see how you come in and revitalize things. I don't want to see aesthetics. So yeah, we look out for quality, experience, and of course, the right fit when scanning CVs.
Right. Thank you, Mr. David. Um, so the next question goes like this. What's what are your what should be in a winning CV? And do you also help individuals to craft their CVs? Do you help them to, you know?
So, winning CV, there was a presentation I did in Ife a couple of years ago. We called it World Class CV. Funny thing, I have a small document I wrote somewhere. I'll find all those things out. I called it CV Writing for Dummies. Now, why did I name it that? Is I've seen too many CVs that I'm scared that people don't understand what it is to write that document out. Now, a winning CV is something I see at first glance and I'm blown away. Now, how do you do that? It's called information arrangement. How do you arrange the information on the page that I see it and I feel this CV is loaded enough? I need that CV on my shortlist. I call it how you get your first foot into the building. It's a properly written CV, right? Of course, we help people write craft CVs. We do for very experienced people. Of course, we also do for middle level and every other person. But then I'll still tell you what it is, what is inside of it. It might not be something that people can do easily, but I'll tell you. I look at the first page. There are some information I'm looking for in that first page. I don't want to see your date of birth. I don't want to see your language. I don't want to see where you are from. I don't want to see all those kind of things. You were the head boy in your school. You were, oh God, please, no. Those are not valuable information on your CV. I still see experienced hand, technical guys, people that have done several courses, still put things like that in their CVs. I don't blame them. It's the format they saw and they use, but things have moved on. I mean, your page one of your CV is like your cover. Now, so there is a difference in a cover letter and your CV. Let me just chip that cover letter part. The cover letter helps you do all of those storytelling in a more descriptive way. There are some description you can't give on your CV, but on your cover letter, in that 3 to 4 paragraphs, you will have described yourself as the best thing after Bill Gates or after Steve Jobs, because you're able to craft it in a way that sells you well. Selling yourself more does the work on the cover letter. But back to the CV. That CV, the page one, is the go-getter. If I look at the page one, I see the profile. I see some experience. I see some very sharp education here and there, the vital ones, not story. Then I see some certification in between there. I'm looking at the page one that already tells me this guy is not a time waster. This guy is presenting me with the eggs, the best ones, the fresh ones. I'm not looking for chaff. He's already giving me the juice on that page one. That guy, that lady is who I will shortlist. Remember, I have a lot of CVs to go through, so I'm not digging deep. I am digging for gold. So anything that glitters in my face, I will count it as gold. That's how miners do, right? Everything that glitters, they pick it up. It is later when they are doing filtration or separation, they say, oh, this is gold. Oh, this is just shiny metals. So you want to avoid being shiny metals after you've been picked into the gold section, but you want to glitter as much as possible with your CV arrangement. When you do that, I pick you, I pick you, I pick you, I pick you, then I go through that CV and you have depth. I mean, you will be called immediately. So there are 3 stages. I find you attractive, I pick you. I look at that CV, you look like the part. I call you and I book for an interview. The final part is for you to sell yourself the best ways you can. We also do that interview preparatory session for people where they sit with us. Of course, that's not physical. We do it virtually. Then we tell you what the employer actually wants to hear from you in that interview based on the industry, what they are looking for, the kind of things they would ask. The reason is because of I've worked with the HRs for a long time. Companies, we talk to employers and they tell you, oh, I'm looking for the guy that has ABC and D. So you won't go to your interview and be selling yourself short. And I've seen scenarios where a guy is gifted, very experienced, smart, sharp, knows the onions, doesn't have the best way to present his CV, maybe his skills true, and then doesn't really know how to present themselves in front of the employer. I referred a guy to a job 2 weeks ago. He texted me this morning and told me he got the job. And I told him, were you in doubt? He said, oh, wow. So it means I have more confidence in you than in yourself, than you had in yourself. Now, I'd interviewed that guy. I'd spoken to him. I know how he was able to get that job. He had done it for me in my physical call with him. So when that job came, I mentioned him to the person. I know the employer also. I know what he was looking for. It was the perfect fit. So I didn't even bother asking the employer that I sent you somebody. I just told them that talk to this guy. And he got, I'm sure they had close to 50 guys that was referred. But he got the job. And he came and said, wow, thank you. I said, hey, I didn't do anything. You did that part because you listened. You know exactly what they were looking for. And our conversation, we were able to tailor that chart to you, understanding the pain points and how to sell it. He did that perfectly well. He has the job. Several people have that after a proper conversation. There are ways you attack interviews, aside a good CV, a good LinkedIn, or a good cover letter. You need to understand how to attack an interview. The best route wins you that job. You can apply for several jobs and get all of the jobs because you know how to do it. Of course, you can't accept all the offer. You will just accept the ones that you feel is the best fit. There's a question in the session. Sorry, Tosin, I like to run through. I don't like to come back and see hundreds of questions here. And I'm like, oh God, I've said this before. So someone said, please, what's your take on having two jobs running concurrently on a CV? Some years ago, that would have been a fatal error, right? But it seems like the world ended in 2020 and a new world started. After that time, people don't find that thing as difficult as it should be. But then there's something called clarity. So let me explain it to you. We just employed somebody in our office yesterday, Friday. I'm on leave, by the way. I'll resume on Monday. But yeah, they just employed her. I sent the CV to my guys at the office and they employed the person. And the person told them that she's on a job. That the offering we're giving her doesn't match what she's doing. And we asked her, can you take the job with the job you currently have? So we give you what we're offering. She said, yes. You see that? It's called clarity, openness, no secrets somewhere. We know she has a job and she's able to take it. She also have that arrangement with it that she can take other jobs. It's hybrid. People now work remotely 5 days a week. They don't go to the office at all. So people can take more than one job because it's something they've discussed. So you need to be able to discuss this thing up front. People like G3, they are fidgeting when they're doing interview. Don't fidget. If they want you full-time, they should pay you the full-time money. Is it that hard? You want me to work full-time, right? This is the going rate of that role in the industry. Is 550,000 naira per month. Yeah, pay it to me. I'll leave the job, I'll resign, I'll go. But maybe I'm earning 300 here now, and then you have a job of 250, and you tell me to resign my old job. Does that work? It doesn't make sense. I'll tell you, can I do this with your job? I have an understanding with my employer. Now, on LinkedIn, a lot of people have plenty open jobs together because they have understanding or like clarity with their employers. If you don't have that clarity with your employer, do not attempt to do that. It is detrimental to your career. Right. So what you would now do is those other jobs can be put as gig, freelancing, consulting jobs. They don't stop from doing all that. It doesn't affect the workplace. But in this day and age, people do more than one job. But then, if you accept a job, a full-time job, stated explicitly in your offer letter, you have to end every other employment on your LinkedIn page and on your CV so that we are on the right page. So you don't get fired from two jobs. People, it happens before. My HRs give me testimony or feedbacks about that a lot. They fire somebody after a month, discovering they're working with the old company that they said they resigned from. Is why people ask you for a resignation letter, but it's not all time. We now work for companies in the USA, in Europe, across the board. They don't need to resign. They need you to be able to work. So imagine I have a job in Italy. It means I have to wake up at maybe 12 a.m. and work, till maybe 3 or 4 and sleep back and, wake up the next morning and go to my office. Regular one. Those are like remote jobs. Nobody will crucify you for doing that. But you need to be very smart. You don't want to. There's a case of a mentee that did something very funny. I got her a job. That job was keenly contested. And guess what she did? That job was 250K for an internship role. Someone that just finished with first class. Internship, I sent them like 6-7 people. And they were about to pick her. And they asked her a question. In 2 or 3 years, what do you want to do? And then she told them she wants to travel to Canada in 2 years. You know what they did? They offered that 90,000 for an internship role. Since they know she'll be going to Canada in 2 years, that means she doesn't have plans to grow with them. I was so furious. I told you explicitly, when you go there, answer questions smartly. Everybody wants to go to Canada, but do you wake up in the morning and tell your employer you are going to Canada? You think the HR doesn't go to Canada? He wants to go too. Well, you don't say that in an interview. You want to work and build your experience. Get your money right, and you'll be good. In 2-3 years, you are gone. Save up. No one wants to spend 16 years in a company. But she said that, and she came back and told me, "Oh my God, they offered me a lower salary." I said, "Why?" I said, "What?" I then asked her, "What did you tell them at the interview?" Because I know it was not supposed to happen. And then she told me, I was like, "Oh God." I couldn't insult her because I was too furious. I'm like, "Why would you do that?" But I understand she's inexperienced. Hmm? So the one advice for answering questions at interview: don't answer a question they didn't ask you. People do that a lot. It's why they fail the interview or they don't get picked. Question: how can someone respond to a question, "Tell me about yourself"? That's the easiest question in this world. I mean, nobody should ask you that question in an interview. But if they do, they are trying to buy time. Actually, they just want to hear you talk. They want to see if you're actually the guy they read his or her CV. And when they ask you that question, do you know what you do? You say, "Oh, I have 7 years experience in." Don't tell me about your date of birth, your family township, where you went to school, the course you did. Of course, if you went to Harvard, mention it. If you went to MIT, please mention it. If you went to Howard, mention it. Stanford, please mention it. But of course, the basic is, "Oh, you graduated from this school with this degree, and ever since you've been working with A, B, C, and D, and you've done X, Y, Z." In summary, "Tell me about yourself" is simply, "Tell me about your experience and why we should hire you." It's the same question. So if you do that smartly, they won't ask you so much question again. They will only rigmarole around your experience. It's best to do that, and actually, if you are smart, overload them with so much of your experience that they are trying to put a hole in your experience, but you already know what they're trying to do. So you are smarting them at every point in time. By the time you spend 30 minutes telling them about what you have done and how you did it, you will get that job eventually. That should answer your question. Do we still have more?
All right. I don't think so. Okay. I don't think so. All right. So thank you, Mr. David. Um, what are your recommended sites for getting local and international jobs? We'll be honored for you to share that with us.
So let me share one or two international sites. Remotejobs.com, as straightforward as that. You can get international jobs on it. There's flexjobs.com as well. You can get international jobs on it. There's Upwork. There's Freelancer. There's so many of those online sites that you can get work from. But I'm biased to LinkedIn. I feel you can get any kind of job on LinkedIn if you are a researching mind. Just sit down on the platform and search. You will find, and you know the sweet thing about that LinkedIn jobs, you can talk to the person that posted that jobs because their name is always there. You can have a conversation about the perks, about the working hours, and you can sell yourself more. Easy is the easiest platform. The original plan of those that built LinkedIn was this. It has changed though. It was simply a dating site for employers and employees. Simple. It's like Tinder for jobs. An employer will just keep swiping your profile and keep checking if it fits their job. Once it fits, they send you a message. It's the same thing that LinkedIn still does. So there are people looking for job seekers, looking for employees, all on LinkedIn. They're even paying subscription fee to find employees on LinkedIn. But employees don't take advantage of that. They prefer not to say anything. They go on Twitter and yab everybody, and on Instagram and post picture. I do all that too, but yeah, take LinkedIn seriously, and you will get the jobs you're looking for easily. Formal sites. There are so many job sites in Nigeria. Also, I don't use them. I rather join a Telegram channel with a job that posts jobs and stay on LinkedIn more. Groups, LinkedIn give you a lot more updated jobs than the websites that you are trying to look for. But of course, be my guest. Go to all those websites. and find job. In this world of AIs, you can find anything. Just go to badge.google.com or chatgpt openai.com. You will find, just write it there. I want all remote job sites in the world. It will give you 1,000 websites. Is this life has been made easy right now with AI. It won't take your jobs, but then it will lead you in the right direction. Of course, content guys are the ones suffering now. Some companies with 100 content writers reduced it to 30 and say, well, these 30 guys should now train the AI they've paid for and use that to create all the content. Of course, it's funny. AI can give you all the content you want in split seconds. It's the world we find ourselves. Be useful, be valuable, and then nobody will take your job away. But yeah, it is what it is. I think there's a question in that our comment section again. How do you migrate your CV and LinkedIn to a new role and also make it? I'm confused, but if I let me answer it. I mean, Bola, try and respond if I answered it correctly. How do you migrate your CV? You don't need to migrate your. Oh, I get. You want to rewrite your CV to look like maybe the new industry you're trying to go to, a new role. So what I do is this: your old experience still matters, right? Not like you will totally discard them, but there's something called the most important experiences. So let me give you a funny catch. If I have two different experiences about my new role, I will highlight those ones a lot more. The other ones that are not so much, I'll call them other experiences. It's what we do for people when they have too many experiences. We segment it. The major experience, other experiences, and I won't write so much details about those ones. I'll just write where you work, some very funny templates write up. It's just the arrangement will make it. So you don't have to discard it, but you have to tweak it in a way that is relevant to what you're about to apply for. So HR don't discard your CV. Mr. Deji, did not answer the question about if, oh, I help people write CV. Oh, I mentioned it. My company, Worker Consulting Services, I did that at the beginning. We do CV services, LinkedIn optimization, cover letter writing, CV write-up, statement of purpose. If you need an external profile, or you don't need an external profile, if you have a cover letter. In your cover letter, is mostly about your profile. You just remove that first paragraph that says you found their job via a particular means and you are delighted to present them with your experience. Remove that part, and the remaining part of your cover letter is like your profile. Just do an introduction upstairs and you're good to go. So I tell the typical person transitioning, doing a new thing, trying to get a new job or positioning themselves to have these three ready: an optimized LinkedIn page, CV, well written, and cover letter. All those three documents, you should have it at your beck and call. I didn't talk about LinkedIn at all because it's a lot more longer than you guys. If your CV is optimized, you will see all the angles. I'm talking about the header, the picture, the headline. There's so many things on LinkedIn that people ignore. So they look like a parody on LinkedIn, whereas they are experienced people. You can't afford to have a dead LinkedIn page. It will jeopardize your chances of securing international jobs. An international recruiter will come to you first on LinkedIn before your CV. Now, why did they come to you? Because they read your profile. You can actually know. So if your profile is not updated or optimized on LinkedIn, you are in big jeopardy. When they check that, they will not ask for your CV and cover letter. That's how you get the job faster than every other person. If you don't take anything away from here, take this away. The faster route to your job is LinkedIn. CVs and covers come later, right? If your LinkedIn is well done, you will get a job faster than every other person that is applying for that same job. So do you have to rewrite your CV every time to meet application? No, you don't have to rewrite every time. You are not applying for 7 different industries. You are applying with a skill set that you have developed. A digital marketing expert is a digital marketing expert. You can work in any industry. A data analyst that crunches numbers is a data analyst. You can work in the beauty industry or in the tech company and all those kind of things. You will see it on LinkedIn. I'm not an IG person. Just look for worker. I will drop my LinkedIn URL here so you can look out for me on LinkedIn. it's easy for you. So when you see this, you see worker on my page. Another thing you do on your LinkedIn is you optimize your URL. And I can bet that a lot of you don't know your URL offhand, the one you use on LinkedIn. But you can say I just type my own without thinking twice because I've already optimized my page. So this thing is in my head everywhere I go to. If you click it, it will take you straight to my page. And a first glance at my page, you will see things that I do. You easily just know who I am on my page. People should be able to know who you are once they click on your URL. So check that. You will see worker consultants. Okay, you see other experiences there, but just look for worker. Worker is the one that does all of this LinkedIn civil service and all that kind of thing. You can message me directly on LinkedIn as well. It's easier that way because people still come to me directly, and then I give them the company's email address, to push, the documents there so it can be, done and revert back to them. We have guys that work with us, do all of this, but I try to do a final check for people that I know, you know, if you guys come, of course, I know where you are coming from. I probably say, okay, let me see that document before it goes out. So in case they have a question, they can ask me directly. I try to be closer to the people the more. But of course, if I'm doing for maybe 500 people, I can't be closer to everybody. I will just tell my teams to do a lot of the work. I will now organize a session, like a call, where I talk to everybody about the process and make sure they understand what we've done and how it can help them become the right candidate for the job. All right, I think I've answered that question. So yeah, any more question, please throw at it. I think we have about 10 more minutes to go. Yeah, I'll answer it. You now have my LinkedIn. You can reach out to me and ask questions. I'm easily reached. I don't have any wall against me. Just send a message and introduce this. If you mention Deepa's name, of course, I know it's you. I know it's from there, so I can easily attend to you. Yeah, Tosin, over to you.
Okay, thank you, sir. That was extensive. Um, so we have two questions to go.
Okay.
What role does networking play in the job search process, and how can job seekers utilize these networks efficiently?
So here is the thing that makes that very sweet. I just mentioned it now. Now, see, now I said if you mention, oh, you're from Oladipo, I'll probably attend to you faster. Huh? That's what networking does. You get responded to faster. If they mention, oh, I remember Oluwato say she was anchor of the, oh, yeah, yeah, oh, 100 degrees. Oh, yeah, 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 I remember. So imagine you send me a message on LinkedIn. I don't know you. And you mention, hello, Mr. Deji. Good afternoon, sir. I was on the call with you that Oluwaton Sian called 100 degrees from Mr. Oladapo. When I see all those names, I will respond to you. Say, hey, you are from my people. Eh? But if I show you my LinkedIn inbox, hundreds of unread messages are there. Now, why have I not read them? I cannot read all the messages. I have a day job, right? So it's a lot. And I have another job, a full-time job that I have in my house now. So it's hard to read a lot of questions or a lot of messages. I just skip a lot of them. But if I read the first few lines and it sounded like something I know, I open it. Yeah. Now, in LinkedIn, they practically tell you network. That's what they say. They say, oh, this is your network. Oh, 100,000 people are in your network. Physically, you meet people, at job show, at job fair events, at launchings, at trade events, a lot of events that you get cards, you meet up with each other, you connect, you follow each other, you network, you start talking about similarities of your work or a point of partnership or how they can service you as a consultant. There are plethora of angles you can come through that you build into a real relationship and eventually helps you. I tell employees to be friends with your recruiter first before you start asking them to give you a job, right? If you are their friend, I'm not saying say hello, hi to them every second. No, no, no. I'm saying just be nice to them. Have you gone to their page and look for something they do that you can help them with? I'm telling you how to network faster now. This was taught to me by a rich man. A rich woman actually was like, hey, if you want to network with people, help them. Even the richest of us need help. Help them. They are looking for a number. Send the number to them. They are looking to do something. Help them find it. They get used to you. And if they need something, they come back to you. They are even ready to pay for that thing. But they now trust you more. Like, hey, this is my son or my daughter that doesn't even keeps helping me. Now, if there's a job that they see you can do, they will make sure that person gives you the job, even without you asking for the lobbying. They will make sure because they tell you this boy is a very useful boy. I'm talking how networking works. This is rich people networking scheme. You text themselves, don't even call them. You text, they'll call you back. This play it worked a lot. Now, so what do I do with networking? So people that I know that I need something from, I find a way to help them out. Maybe they share the post and I have a bit more network with them. I will reshare it. And I'll ask them, oh, what do you need? Can I help you share this somewhere else? Just to create a sense of I'm helping this person. So the day you come back and say, good afternoon, sir. I need something. They will give you undivided attention. Say, nah, this boy is worth the onions. Not you just barging into my inbox and telling me you've been looking for a job for 20 years and you've been. I'll read it and I'll say, yeah. I'll see what I can find. And I'll move on because there are hundreds of you telling me the same thing. Nobody is even looking at what I need. Everybody is telling me what they need. So networking is not just looking for the guys that can help you. This helper mentality, I detest it with the best of my bone. People can be benevolent to you. They can help you, but can you help them? Helper is not just me giving you money or securing the back for it. You can help me with some small things and you network with me and they will become, acquaintances and we're talking. There's a girl that I've given 3 jobs to now. You ask me, are there no other person that can do what she does? Yeah, there are hundreds of them. But you know why? She made sure that she's always checking up on me. Hello, Mr. David, how are you doing? How's the family? How's the job? Oh, do you have an event that I can come and help with? Or are you doing an event? Oh, so I can come and listen. She kept on posting that and sending that to me. Let me give you a funny story. The first job she was doing, she was earning 80,000. This was 3 years ago. And I sent her a job link because I saw it. Because I know, oh, yeah, this my very diligent mentee that's always asking after me. And she got that job. She was earning 120 something thousand. She didn't spend 8 months there. I saw a job that was paying 250K. I pushed it to her. They gave me the job to recruit for people. They said, "Will send me 4 or 5 people." I sent them 3 people's names. She was one of them. She got the job. Now, it's barely a year. I've sent her a job that pays 500K. Same level. Why am I sending to this person? Because this person understands empathy. People don't understand that at all. They just want to take and take and take and take. Recruiters are human beings as well. They're also employees. Some of us are job owners, yes, or business owners, but not everybody has that luxury. Some of them need some small help. Be the person that helps them out. If you are experienced, they will find you a job. Because you know why? You are valuable to them working than being unemployed. Because as long as you are working, you are contented. Every other thing they need, you are able to help them without stress because you are working. You know that, man, this my HR will give me job when I need it. So you are not afraid. Is what partnership does. Or if you don't understand how to partner in partnership, it's called mutually beneficial arrangement. There's something I'm giving. There's something I'm getting. Look at your job search as a partnership with recruiters and reachers as well. Be mutually beneficial towards you and you will succeed. That is the thing I'll tell people. Whoever can listen, let them hear and then do whatever I've said. Is it okay to have 2 LinkedIn profiles? Please do not do that. I had 2 LinkedIn profiles before I deleted one. You will confuse your helper. Yeah, let me use that word. You'll confuse them. They will search for you and see your other profile that doesn't relate to what you're looking for. It's gone. They won't look for you again. If you want a second profile, open GitHub, open another platform that can channel that in, or have 2 CVs, one for a particular part and one for another part. But LinkedIn, let it stay as one. One, don't do double. One is going to become a burner account. It won't be your main account, and you don't want your main account to be relegated to a burner account because we are trying to talk about profiles. LinkedIn is hard work. To maintain one page is a lot of work. Let alone you want to maintain two. You will not optimize any of those. So let's stay with one. Or if you want to close the old one, yeah, close it, but leave one page. And I have to close the old one. I mean, this is me. When I was working with Jobaman, I organized a 13 weeks radio show at Inspiration FM, and I brought in HR managers from different parts of Lagos. I just sold them the idea. Hey, come and talk about yourself on Inspiration FM for 30 minutes. Nobody said no. Everybody said yes to me. It's radio time, it's free time. I have something to give, Abby. And I wanted to get from them. So I didn't come with, come and help me. I came with, I have a slot for you on radio. How would you mind clearing your calendar for me so you can talk about what you do to the people so they can learn from you? But they were helping me achieve my own KPI at the office. But I didn't tell them that. I just made them see it as value I am adding to them. Once you can add value to the next person, you are going to be their best friend. You said there was one more question, right? Or have I answered that?
No, you've not answered that.
Okay,
I have the last question. I have the last question with me. Okay, thank you, Mr. David. So, how do recruiters scan and select CVs? You mentioned earlier that you got over 500 CVs for just one job role. So, how did that work?
Let me be very honest. We don't. They don't scan through the CVs. They do not. Nobody has the time to go through 500 CVs. Our worker email has over 15,000 unopened emails. My personal account doesn't have more than 2,000. Why? Because there are so many CVs that they send there that will never be opened. Right? This is what recruiters do. When a CV is sent, or most recruiters will wait, for a day or two to populate that CV. But me, this is why I don't like posting jobs. I usually warn recruiters that if I post your role, you are going to understand that it will clog your email because you will be getting 500, 600. I've gotten 5,000 on one role before. You could get as much as 1,000 on a couple of roles. So you should be ready to go through a lot of CVs and delete the rest after. It's normal. So I tell them what you do is wait. In 30 minutes after I tell you I've posted it, start checking it. Start checking so you can be deleting and eliminating the ones that looks good. If not, but if you leave for a day or two, you will come back and see 360 plus CVs in your inbox. So nobody goes through those 360 CVs. No, we don't. We just look at the first 50. So let me give you this funny thing. I'm looking for 3 people for a role, Abi. Okay, say maximum 7 people. And I check my first 50. In that first 50, I'd seen 10 guys that look like it. Do you think I'll go ahead and check the remaining 310? Of course I will not. I don't have that kind of time. Time is money. I want to be able to look at those 7 and see if there are 3 of them that looks like it that I can send to my clients and get them to be interviewed ASAP and given an offer letter, and we move on. And life has gone. That role has gone. I tell them jobs are like medicine. They expire. It doesn't wait. I see people sending in CV 3 weeks after it has been posted. Some jobs are gone in 24 hours. You're sending me CV 3 weeks after. So nobody goes through the CVs. Is why we use ATS sometimes, but ATS is too machine. I really don't use it. I like to go to the CVs and see what is in it. Sometimes I look at referrals. So I have a jobs group called. I'll put the job group here so you guys can join. It's on Telegram. So this is what I do. I have an HR group. It's only HR professionals that are on that group. Now, you know what those HR people do? When we all have posted it's a Telegram channel. There are over 15,000 people on that channel. Everybody came for a job. Now, what we do with the HR group is if I have a job, I post it there. And I ask, do you have someone that can do this job? In a group of like 350 HR people, there will be 2 or 3 guys that have somebody. So when they send me those CVs, I will go through those ones first. If I find somebody in those 6, 7 CVs first, I will abandon the remaining. I told you guys something earlier. I said be friends with what? Your recruiters. Be friends with what? Your HR. So if you are friends with one of those HRs, they would have sent your CV to me earlier than the application, because I will go through them first. Maybe it's on WhatsApp. I just opened it. It looks good. Okay, shortlist this person. I'll tell my staff, call this person. Ask them when can they come for interview, physical or virtual. Let's do something and know if they are fit for the role. We do all that. If we don't now find in those 7 or 8, we then go and face our 500 CVs and see, maybe God will help us in the Red Sea that we're about to, plunge into. But then that's how it works. This is reality. I'm telling you because I know HRs. I've spoken to them. Nobody has that kind of time.
Okay. Do we have any? I don't think we have any questions. Okay. All right. Thank you, Mr. David. You gave us very insightful answers. I'm running to my CV now to like this. Thank you. Okay. Believe that these questions and provided us with valuable insights and guidance on how to navigate the job market successfully, get a proper CV that can attract recruiters and get us the job we want. So once again, I extend my heartfelt gratitude to all of you for being part of this section. So without further ado, let's begin our discussion on revamping CVs and exploring effective recruitment strategies. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Thank you very much, special guest, for coming. I know we had a quick chat, and thank you for your time. I hope you all still have his LinkedIn page in case you need to discuss with him further. You can. All right. Everyone, have a great day. Our host, thank you for your time as well. All right, everyone. Bye.
Thank you, 100 Degrees. Thank you, Mr. DG. Appreciate you guys.